Is there any of the 78 charges that he's facing felonies? Would you still vote for him?
If I took a right here,
Well,
and if I cut it up into 78 pieces, what would I have?
Trump's arraignment is making people act a little funny, especially on the right side of the country.
Was he right about everything?
No, my question is,
Trump was right about everything.
so what if he's convicted? Would you still vote for him?
Absolutely. Convicted of what?
After the former president and current frontrunner for the Republican presidential nomination was indicted 3 times last week, it seems everyone from Eric Trump to Rudy Giuliani to Trump's own former Vice President Mike Pence has something to say about it.
We didn't get so much as a speeding ticket before my father went into office. And this is how they treat us every single day.
There's also a clip going viral around right-wing Twitter right now, which is most of Twitter these days, or X, whatever. The clip is from an interview that Tucker Carlson conducted with the Capitol Police Chief regarding the deployment of the National Guard on January 6th, the deployment that never happened. The footage never aired on Fox, a move that the blue checks are now calling a massive cover-up. The footage is also very low quality, stuttering and stopping throughout the video, further evidence apparently that Fox didn't want us to see the footage. In the clip, the police chief says that he was denied National Guard while they were under attack on January 6th for 71 minutes. It seems obvious that the reason that happened was because Trump, who was the president at the time, never authorized the deployment of the National Guard, but the blue checks are predictably blaming all of this on Nancy Pelosi instead. They're saying that the government, specifically the Democrats, staged the riot as part of the cover-up for all of the election fraud, and now they're covering up the staging of the riot. Eric Trump himself is asking the same question. Where was the National Guard on January 6th? In fact, Eric has got a lot of questions.
My father cannot wait to take discovery on these people. There are a lot of questions about January 6th, trust me.
Yeah.
How about all the videotapes? How about all the FBI agents that were in there? There's a lot of questions. I mean, why didn't they call up the 10,000 National Reserve troops that my father, approved? Why didn't they do that? What else is happening behind the scenes?
They might regret fast-tracking this trial before the election.
He says his father can't wait to take discovery on the people who are doing this to him. Now, I find that a little hard to believe because if Trump really wanted to pursue a legal avenue here, he would have. He has never hesitated to do so before. He is notoriously litigious. Eric Trump wants to know what was going on behind the scenes on January 6th and with the cover-up that followed. Maybe Eric's just sad that they left him out of all of those behind-the-scenes discussions. But moving on, Rudy Giuliani is melting down over the indictment in which he is indirectly named as co-conspirator number 1.
Violating the right of free speech of an American citizen, never mind whether he was president or not. It could be anybody. It could be a homeless person. You don't get to violate people's First Amendment rights, Smith, no matter who the hell you are, or no matter how sick you are with Trump derangement syndrome. And this isn't the first time you've acted like an unethical lawyer. It should be the last.
If you'll recall, Giuliani confessed just last week to making false statements regarding Georgia election workers while he was acting as Trump's attorney.
Giuliani claimed they committed election fraud. They did not. In the filing, lawyers wrote Giuliani, quote, does not contest that to the extent the statements were statements of fact and otherwise actionable, such actionable factual statements were false. I'll translate that for you. He lied.
Now he's saying that the indictment is a violation of the First Amendment. But interestingly, Bill Barr, Trump's former attorney general, is disputing Giuliani's claims, saying, quote, as a legal matter, I don't see a problem with the indictment. Not to downplay Barr's role in all of the Trump-related madness that we are currently dealing with, but for whatever reason, he's speaking out now. Giuliani also released a video after he admitted to lying about the Georgia election workers, calling the admission fake news, and telling his supporters and anyone who will listen that he didn't actually admit to doing anything wrong. And on top of that, in a sort of separate issue, Giuliani is dealing with allegations of sexual abuse, and the accuser has tapes of him saying things that I can't even repeat here. In fact, I put the quote into my web browser just to quickly access the article, and in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have done that. But just to give you an idea, one of the less explicit things he said was, quote, I'd never think about a girl being smart. If you told me a girl was smart, I would often think she's not attractive. But back to people who are speaking out, of all people, Mike Pence has things to say. He's speaking out, finally, making it exceedingly clear that Trump explicitly asked him to do something that he was legally unable to do. Again, not giving Pence too much credit here. He certainly could have made all of this exceedingly clear over the past 2 years. And sure, he's kind of said it a few times, but he really didn't make a lot of noise about it. Earlier this week, Trump's lawyer, John Laro, told CNN that Pence was asked to simply pause the voting on January 6th. Pence wants everyone to know that no, that's not true. He said, quote, "The American people deserve to know that President Trump and his advisors didn't just ask me to pause. They asked me to reject votes, return votes, and essentially to overturn the election." He also referred to Trump's lawyers as crackpots, which is fun. So what we're seeing is a bunch of people getting very defensive. It seems like at the point that 3 indictments have already been issued, it might be too little too late as far as protecting themselves. But that's not really the point at all, in my opinion. What they say publicly doesn't change the evidence against them. It's not really relevant to what Jack Smith is doing, unless, of course, they publicly confess to something that is related to the investigations. The legality of crimes and cases isn't determined by public opinion, so why do they bother going on these media blitzes and social media rampages like what we're currently seeing? And the answer is because they still need to rally support. They're thinking beyond the case, beyond the trial. They're trying to preserve their supporting base, and the more entrenched they can keep people in conspiracy theories and magical thinking, the better off they'll be. So they'll continue to deny until they're blue in the face. They'll continue to enrage their base. They'll continue to put forth various theories about cover-ups, and they will continue to deliberately misplace blame. They put in a lot of work over the past 5 years or so, destroying people's critical thinking skills, disrupting their inner peace, and infesting their minds with paranoia, fear, and anger. They're not just going to give up on all of that progress that they made. Now, Trump in the past has called for his supporters to rally at the place of his legal proceedings, and in the past, they've been less than compliant. Yesterday, during Trump's arraignment at the Capitol, sources say that there wasn't much of a Trumper turnout. Perhaps they're losing their vigor. Perhaps the January 6th arrests have proven successful in discouraging against certain bad behavior. But either way, we'll have a lot to pay attention to in the upcoming days and weeks. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to follow me on all of the socials. Thanks.